We're starting a new chapter now where we're going to take a look at how we modify objects in our AutoCAD drawings. Now, in order to modify your objects in AutoCAD, you need to be able to select them. And that's a really important feature of AutoCAD. And I want to dive deeper into that about how you select your objects in your AutoCAD drawings. Now, we've got a drawing for you. You can see it on the screen. It's called Office Layout.dwg. You know the drill by now. Download it from the library to follow along with the videos in this chapter. And there'll be a number of little iterations of this drawing as we work through this chapter. As we build up and develop the office layout, you'll see that there's some revisions of the drawing as we go through. I'll explain which DWG file you need for which video in this particular chapter. Now, as you can see, it's a very simple little office layout. We've got a little door there with some walls and some partitions. And on the right-hand side, we've got some furniture, got a nice pot plant, we've got a little red computer and a little green chair. Now, we need to work out how we select those objects. Now, by default, the quickest way to select those objects is just take the crosshair over an object. You'll see it highlights like so. You left-click on it. It is now selected. Now, the reason you know it's selected is it's gone a pale blue color and the little blue square, the grip, has appeared on that object. Now, that object only has the one grip because it is an AutoCAD block. It's a group of lines that have been converted to a block to represent a desk. So you can see how that works. Now, if you want to deselect that object, just press Escape once. You'll see it deselects. Now, if you've got that object selected during a command and you want to cancel, you press Escape twice. Once to deselect the object, second time to cancel the command. So it's Escape twice. Get into the habit of hitting Escape twice because sometimes you can still be in a command that you might not want to be in as well. Now, selecting one object is easy, so I'll click on the desk again. Now, the good thing is the default settings in AutoCAD allow you to go and select multiple objects and put them into what is known as a selection set. So I've clicked on each of those objects. They've all gone that pale blue and you can see the grips on them like so. So that is now known as a selection set. If I want to remove something from the selection set, I hold down the Shift key on the keyboard, hover over a selected object. You'll see the little minus sign appear there. Click on that desk. Can you see it's now deselected? Hold down Shift again, click on the chair, minus sign there, click on it, deselected. If I click on it again without the Shift, adds it back to the selection set again. I'll just hit Escape there a couple of times just to deselect everything. Now, there will be occasions where you want to select more than one object. Quickest way to do this, get the crosshair, say, over there, left click once on the mouse and release the mouse button. Drag the blue window over all of the objects that you want to select. Can you see I've encompassed all of them in the blue window? Left click and release again, and you'll see that that selection has selected all of those objects. That's known as a window selection, going normally from left to right. Hit Escape a couple of times to deselect. I'm going to put the crosshair down here now, bottom right. I'm going to left click and release the mouse button. I'm just going to drag it upwards. You'll see it's green and dashed this time. But I'm just going to go through the computer, the pot plant and the desk. I'm not going to encompass them completely. Then I'm going to left click again. Can you see they're all selected again? That's known as a crossing selection, and that normally goes from right to left. And a crossing selection will select all of the objects encompassed by the green dash window, as well as any objects that are crossed by that green dash window. So two useful methods there of selecting objects. I'll just hit Escape a couple of times again. Now, we're going to go and look at our AutoCAD options. So make sure that you've got no commands running, no selection, etc. I'm going to right click and on the shortcut menu go down to Options. Now, the Options dialog box will appear. Click on the Selection tab and you'll see that all of your settings for selecting objects are in here. Now, there's one particular one that I want you to be aware of. It's Allow Press and Drag for Lasso there. Now, we will look at that in a second, but make sure it's ticked. It is normally ticked by default, and I'll show you how it works. The other one that's really important to make sure it's ticked is your noun verb selection. That allows you to select objects and then select the command. So you select the objects and go, I want to move those objects, or I want to copy those objects. And we'll get into that later on in the chapter. So just make sure that noun verb selection is ticked and your lasso box is ticked as well. Click on OK. Now let's take a look at our lasso tool. Now this is a click and a hold on the mouse button. And can you see, if I go from left to right, like that, only the objects encompassed by the blue lasso, when I release, will be selected. Hit escape a couple of times if I go from right to left. Can you see I'm going that way, that way? So I went the wrong way there and it's done a blue one again. And it gets a bit weird because if you move the mouse around like that, all goes a little bit crazy. Just release the mouse button, hit escape a couple of times. Now, if you're going to go from right to left, you need to say click up here. And you need to go the opposite way to the way that you think, like that. Can you see? I've just clicked and released the mouse button. I've got a selection window going on. So it's a click and a hold. Now, this is the weird one. I take the lasso through, go in the opposite direction from right to left. And as I go through each one, I can create a really weird shape. There we go. Release the mouse button and they're all selected because it's a crossing lasso rather than a window lasso. Do you see what I mean? Blue and green. Remember the blue and the green. So there's some really cool methods there of selecting and deselecting and lassoing and windowing objects to make sure that you select them when you modify your objects quickly and easily. Hit escape a couple of times just to deselect, and we'll move on to the next video where we start to cover more of the modify tools in AutoCAD.